It's time for our phone-in segment where we're definitely going to give you the opportunity to call in and share your thoughts on the show. But before we get to all of that, now, before we went on break, I told you we're talking about the Naira scarcity. Now, CBN fined 9 banks 150 million Naira each for Naira shortage in its ATM during the Yuletide period. Now, the affected banks were Fidelity, First Bank, Keystone, Union, Globus Bank, Providence Bank, Zenith Bank, UBA, and Sterling Bank. Now, the action was taken after spot checks and failure to follow cash distribution guidelines. CBN reaffirms zero tolerance for cash flow disruptions despite repeated warnings. And this bank failed, in providing cash for Nigerians during the Yuletide period. Want to know, what is your take on this? The phone lines are open. Do well to call us. Tell us, what's your thought on this? Should the CBN do more? Is the fine enough to justify this? Now, when it comes to Naira scarcity, we remember what it is like. We all know what it is like getting access to cash. And personally, I had the opportunity of speaking with POS operators during that period. And a couple of them increased their charges per withdrawal because they were complaining of their lack of access to cash. Some of them said they even had to buy cash. Imagine buying the Naira in Naira. Some of them said they had to buy cash to be able to have, money for you to withdraw from them. So you were dependent on the POS operators, which normally you should be going to an ATM. But because there's no cash in the ATM machines, you rely on POS operators who are having issues with accessing cash. Some of them had no cash. Some of them had to increase their charges, which made it quite uncomfortable. If you're withdrawing, say you're withdrawing 5,000, I'm telling you your charge is 300 Naira. It was quite uncomfortable. So I want to get your thought on this now. This was released in a press statement by the acting director of corporate communications at the CBN, Mrs. Hakama Sidi, and she emphasized their commitment to ensuring seamless cash availability. She stated, in the clear message of zero tolerance for cash flow disruption, the central bank has sanctioned deposit money banks for failing to make Naira notes available through ATM machines during Christmas. And the CBN underscores its dedication to maintaining liquidity and ensuring that citizens have access to cash, especially during critical periods. The fine serves as a deterrent to banks, reinforcing the importance of adhering to cash distribution guidelines to prevent further shortage. Now, as a Nigerian, were you able to have, let's even check first of all, were you able to have access to cash during the Christmas period? And how much were you paying per withdrawal? What did you hear about? Did you experience scarcity of cash whatsoever? Were you able to get cash from the ATM machines? And if you found or experienced difficulty during this period, even if you didn't, do you think the fine is enough? Or do you think more should be done? What other ways could the CBN impose, sanctions on banks to ensure that cash is made available to Nigerians? Now, we also understand on the part where Nigeria is a country that operates mainly on cash. Cash is something that works here a lot. Very few people are getting, accustomed to accepting transfer or wanting you to do cashless transactions with them. For petty trading and petty business, for petty buying and selling, most of the times cash is required. So how did this make your life during that period? Do well to call in and let's have a conversation this morning. The phone lines are open. You could call us on any of the numbers shown on your screen or send a message via WhatsApp. Now let's take our first caller for today. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line? Good morning. All right, we lost that caller. Please, there are 2 numbers displayed there. Do well to call either of them or send a message via WhatsApp. I'll be here to take your messages and your call. Now, we experienced the Naira scarcity when it happened, and Naira scarcity has led to significant hardship, including difficulties in purchasing essential and increased psychological stress among citizens, which is true. So how did it affect your daily life and your daily well-being? While the CBN has fined each bank 150 million, is this approach sufficient to deter future non-compliance? Do you believe financial penalties alone can ensure banks fulfill their obligations, or should additional measures be considered? If it should be, what additional measures do you think would actually make banks sit up and make sure that there's cash available for Nigerians when they need it. Now, let's not forget that there are cash limits for withdrawal for POS and individuals who walk into the bank. There are limits. But let's take this call. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Morning. How are you, Mother Lilian?
I am fine, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I am Mohammed Bello calling from the local government in Bauchi State.
Mohammed Bello, it's so good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay. So this cash, Naira scarcity in Nigeria is an artificial mix. Yes, because in my own town, so I even took some time ago to write about this issue of our banks denying their customers their right to demand for their money. And it is a customer's right to pay his own money on demand. We are not there to take any loan from them. But if your own personal money, which you keep for so many various reasons, motives for holding money, when you go to get it, you will not get your money. Many of the POS that are operating in the we have two. One for the regional bank and another for First Bank. Where whenever you go there, you will find no money in the ATM. And they restricted the customers from using it. I don't know why they are restricting people, why they are charging people for the use of the ATM. When you come with another bank's ATM and insert into the ATM to withdraw money, they will restrict you. You will not be able to withdraw more than 5,000 or 10,000 naira in a day from the ATM. For the First Bank, even if you have the account with the ATM, you are only allowed to withdraw only 40,000 naira in 8 different transactions with the ATM. 8 different, 5,000 times 8 before you withdraw 40,000 naira from your account. There is no fairness in what they are doing. And they don't want people to come and cry out and say the truth. And the people that you are fighting for this, they will continue to rebut on you and be fighting you back, saying that you are putting yourself into something that you don't have any right or control over. Huh? Even if we don't have a control over it, we have a right to talk on it. And even if I don't have enough money to go and be complaining about, but what about the people that have the money and they deny the access to do it? We know it. They should take the correction and put things into order. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that. If you had called, I love your thoughts there, talking about how it's difficult, but there's a restriction on how much an individual is to withdraw from the bank. And this is because the CBN is trying to restrict cash flow. They understand that Nigeria is a cash-based society, but doesn't mean we should have excessive cash out there. So they're trying to restrict the cash that is out there in the hands of people and, gradually take us back to cashless transactions. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you. Lilian, my name is Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. It's good to have you this morning. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you. You see, this issue, CBN have to do more. I will appreciate the law that CBN come with it, and we are hoping to be enforced fully. And if there is any more strategies, let them act on it, because there is no way you can save your money, and in the time of need you cannot have access of your money. This is absolutely driving person from exercising his human right. You see, these banks that you are seeing, there is game that they are playing. They are playing game with the big marketers. At the end of every rainy season, you see the cash is scarcing. Why it was scarce is simply because these marketers, they used to go to the ruling area to buy cultivated crops. And that villagers, they do not believe on transfer whatsoever. What they require is to place cash and carry the goods. So the bankers, the bank, they are conniving with these marketers to gather them cash and give them so that they deny the PT customer. You can imagine somebody is sick in your house, you want to withdraw money for the treatment, but you cannot see the cash. So the cash go to the people that they arrange with the commercial banks. So we are this section is a welcome development, so that you can sanitize it, and also about the limitation of the cash withdrawal, and that thing have to be looked into, because there is no way you can deposit your money at the time of need. They say it was only so amount that you will withdraw. You cannot exceed that so amount. I think this is a denial of a customer right. So all these things have to be looked into, so that we cannot be maltreated. So that's my text, Lilian.
Thank you very much. We would also love to say allegedly, because there's no facts to confirm or prove the fact that banks are collaborating with marketers or special people or big individuals. We have no facts to prove that. And in as much as till we have somebody come out to say, banks told me to do this and I didn't do this, or banks are collaborating with me, up until then it's still allegedly, because we don't know why banks are holding cash. We don't know why cash is not being given out as at when due. But the CBN is coming out to say, we have given you this money, give it to the people. No doubt there are limits, but Nigerians need cash because the society is cash based to an extent. So why are you hoarding it? But do you think this punishment is enough, or more needs to be done? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, this is calling from Erring.
I didn't get your name, please.
My name is Abdullah Abubakar. I'm calling from Makodi, Benue State.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdul Malik. It's good to have you all the way from Makadi. How's Benue this morning?
Benue, very, very quiet, very, very cool and warm.
All right. So, yeah, what's your thought on the topic we're discussing this morning?
Yeah, what is happening about the CBN issue, they should prepare and send a special squad to monitor those banks. What the last caller thing is true. They use the money to go and bargain and take it to the bush market to make their money. And you can watch. If you go to the bank now to withdraw your money, there's no money. But why is it that when you take 10 million naira to them, they will collect? And if you come back, you want to withdraw 50,000 naira, 100,000, they tell you there's no money. And go to the bush market, you see new printed 1,000 naira note that they used to do business. But when you go to the office that you want to withdraw money inside the store, it will give you the old currency. Why? So the CBN has to do more, extremely more, to checkmate what is happening within the system in the other banks. Thank you. This is Abdullah Mohammed calling from Makodi.
All right, Abdullah Mohammed, thank you very much for that. He is saying that more needs to be done to checkmate banks, which, it's the same call for everyone who has, aired their opinion this morning. More needs to be done, not just imposing fine on them, which most banks won't have a problem paying, but more needs to be done to monitor where and how and who the money is being given to, and not to the access of average Nigerians who do need it. The importance of cash in our Nigerian society cannot be overemphasized. But we know that banks play a pivotal role in ensuring economic stability, and their failure to provide adequate cash flow, exacerbates economic challenges, including inflation and poverty. Imagine going to withdraw 10,000 naira that you need, and they're telling you the charge is 400 naira. That has reduced the money you need to 9,600. It probably won't be enough for you to do what you have to do. You have to find a way to cut cost one way or another. And this is affecting Nigerians because the POS operators are increasing their withdrawal charges because, according to them, they are buying cash and don't have access to cash like they should. So put all of this together, how do you feel as a Nigerian about this new sanction put in by the CBN? Let's take this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Mother Lilian.
Good morning.
With your apology, I don't mean to occupy the state, and I don't mean to evoke burden on anybody. The issue of Naira scarcity, CBN used it as a measure to address inflation.
True.
Contractionary measures of withdrawing money from the people so that we will have little money
in circulation.
Yes. So, and coupled with the cashless transaction policy.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of these policies that we used to come in with are not in agreement with our situation and condition in Nigeria.
True.
Anywhere this type of policies are put in place, there should be some mitigating issues that will reduce the suffering of the people. But in Nigeria, they only bring the theory and apply on people while they don't consider what the developed countries used to take, measures they used to take in order to reduce the suffering of their people. But they only borrow it, which it cannot use in developing or underdeveloped countries like Nigeria. So they should be using the policy that are suitable for Nigerian situation. Not to come and enforce policies that are not suitable for Nigeria, which are not in agreement with the condition of our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, you said the policies. We always spoke about how Nigeria is Nigeria relies on cash for day-to-day transaction. But something happened during the last cash scarcity. Like you said, CBN is withdrawing cash from people to control inflation. But these policies are not realistic to Nigeria. Doesn't mean it cannot be implemented in Nigeria with time. The last cash scarcity that happened changed a lot of things. And I realized that it brought about fintech banks whom few people are still finding it hard to trust, but it brought about some fintech banks, and it also helped commercial banks to step up in their online banking system and transactions, hence making business a little bit easier and reducing the flow of cash one way or another. At this point, I can say that I go to the market with at most maybe 20,000 cash, and every other transaction I do, I transfer. Even if it's the regular guy who's selling chassis in his barrel, I transfer. Do you have an account? Yes, I do. Can I transfer to you? Yes, please. So that worked to an extent. But you can now clearly see that the CBN understands the reality of Nigerians and the fact that Nigerians rely on cash for transactions. Hence, they're saying, okay, this is the amount that has been given. This, you have a certain limit to how much you can withdraw. So banks make this cash available, and banks faltered in that side. The question still lies, is that punishment enough for them, or should more be done? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. If you can hear me, please turn down the volume of your TV set and tell us your name and where you're calling from. All right, I think we might have to let that caller go. You know, it's, if you want to hear yourself, do well to call, turn down the volume of your TV and talk to us. Then go back to our YouTube live stream and hear yourself talk. Trust me, I'm sure you sound good as well if you do that. But let's quickly take this WhatsApp message. It's from Dr. Livingston Ekanem from Jos. He says, good morning, Daybreak crew. On the cash scarcity, it is very harrowingly traumatizing during the Yuletide that at my bank, I could only withdraw 5K cash, but the POS operator just beside the bank could give ₦1 million cash at inflated charges. I think CBN's fine is fine, but misdirected since Nigerians were the ones suffering this fraud. The fine should be paid into our bank accounts to compensate us. Why doesn't the Nigerian government ever compensate for unjust treatment? Well, there goes a question from Livingston. It says instead of the banks to be fined, the fine should be paid to our accounts to compensate us for the stress. Well, I would like that fine. I would like to receive that in my account as well, for the stress. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Obasekong, calling from
Abasekong, it's good to have you from Gombe. You sound a bit low. Please, can you just, speak up a little?
Okay, Abasekong, calling from Gombe.
It's good to have you on the call. How is Gombe? Cold, I presume?
The weather is minimal, just very mild, not that cool.
All right, it's good to know. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Based on the topic today, is another good one. I happened to go into a bank, FC, the other two names, I keep it secret. I saw money was going out. People were carrying bad luggages and removing them. Where were they taking it to? And we were there looking for money. But there was this POS I was introduced to. I was able to remove almost about 100,000. Why must we continue to put stringent measures that makes it very cumbersome for us? I so much appreciate this CBN punishment on erring banks. Police should arrest them. We have EFCC in banks monitoring transactions. What are they doing there? There are EFCC in banks monitoring movement of cash. But I will take money to the bank, and if I want to collect my own money, it becomes so difficult for me. It becomes so traumatized. I don't know what kind of a country we are. It will be very easy for me to carry. If I'm to carry 100,000, 200, I'll deposit. But for me to remove my own money, maybe I'm going to hospital or I have some difficulties. It will become so cumbersome. Just like Comrade Shetima said from Borno State. What kind of country is this? Lilian Ogazi, thank you. God bless you. And the backroom staff. May God help us in this country.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Abaseko, and God bless Nigeria. You asked, you don't know which kind of country. I would say Nigeria is a blessed country that is blessed with human resources, natural resources, and all things good. We just need the right people, the right willpower, and the right political will to fix the nation. And even us as individuals, as Nigerians, you know, we need it all right to fix the nation. But we're still talking about the CBNs. The CBN's fine. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone? All right. I think we lost that caller. Well, do want to call back. Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone. Go back on our live stream if you want to hear yourself. Now, beyond fines, the question is, should the CBN implement stricter sanctions such as operational restrictions or full public disclosure of non-compliance banks to enforce compliance? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Idris calling from Funtua, Katsina State.
Idris, it's good to have you all the way from Funtua. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
In my own case, I want to take a different dimension with regard to the charges.
Okay,
it is
go ahead.
It is good for the central bank to be taking this kind of measure. They should even extend it beyond the availability of cash into the ATM. But on the issue of charges, they charge the money they charge these commercial banks. At the end of the day, that thing will boomerang on the shareholders' interest. You understand? If these kind of charges continue, some of the bank will at the end of the day fold up, and by the time this bank fold up, because of the charges they are paying, it is the shareholder that suffers the consequences. In addition to that too, you know, at the end of the day, the bank share some dividend. These charges will backfire on the interest of those the CBN is trying to protect. At the end of the day, the shareholder will not get enough dividend on their investment. So I think the CBN should review the correct penalties. Instead of charging them this humongous amount, they should stop charging. They should fine-tune the penalties. Maybe the of the such bank should be made to suffer the consequences of such negligence instead of charging. That's my submission this morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Idris, for taking us on a different line of action. Yes, I would want to say I totally understand, being that with this amount being imposed on the banks, might be too big for the banks to pay. And at the end of the day, the people suffer. What if the banks fold up? Your money is gone, and then you're looking for how to get your money back and all of that. So should it be operational activities? Should it be letting go of some certain people in the banks? What exactly should be done at this point if the fines are looking too cumbersome or the fines are looking like they are not enough? What exactly should be done? And has this affected your trust in commercial banks? You know, with how you say, oh, you put money and you're not allowed to take all your money, which we understand is part of the restrictions to reduce cash flow and promote a cashless society, which in turn would help fight corruption, vote buying, and so many other things. So it has its advantages a whole lot, especially for a site like Nigeria. It's just going to be slow and gradual till we start seeing results. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Mohammed from Jigawa, Trust TV.
Hi, Mohammed from Jigawa. The way you just joined the name, it looks like Trust TV was part of your name, but you are welcome. Tell us your thoughts.
How are you?
I am fine,
Trust TV. Good morning, Nigeria, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Go ahead.
All right. What do we have with this CBN governor? Is it a banker before they give him CBN?
Okay. Is that a question?
Is he a banker, this present CBN governor?
Oh, I believe the president's decision to pick him. If he is in the CBN, the president
did he have, excuse me, Trust TV, did he have banking experience before they give him the CBN governor?
Okay. I can hear you. Continue.
Yeah, well, so if you have somebody that don't have experience in banking, you move ahead and give him CBN governor, you will have total economic failure. That's the problem we are having in this country. Total failure.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Rosimi.
Thank you very much for calling us, and thank you very much for your thoughts. Well, the line of questions still stands. You know, what better sanctions should be imposed on banks for faulting the CBN procedures and for asking if the CBN governor has banking experience? Everybody who has been put in the space of political power or handling the CBN has the necessary experience to handle the establishment one way or another. And all the ministers and governors and CBN governors and all of that put in their best work to do the best and put in the best policy to see that the country is working. Talking about the cashless policy, this was started by Emefiele and was a means to curb inflation and curb vote buying. If there's less cash in the hands of people, any humongous cash that's out can easily be traced because you know people have limited access to cash. So I go to the market to get things, and I'm still disappointed that I'm asked to pay in cash. In a world that is going digital and the world is evolving, no doubt it should be gradual for the people, but it should happen. We shouldn't have you buying something of 200,000 Naira in cash in the market. That is too much cash to go around. Little things, petty trading is what the money is being released for, and that is necessary. But Nigerians on our own path should adjust to doing transfers here and there, you know, stick to your apps or however it is, but we're trying to go cashless so that monies can be traced. At the end of the day, you say, oh, they're distributing so and so cash during election period. Where is the cash coming from? If there are restrictions on accounts and these restrictions are adhered to, where is the cash coming from? If they're saying that the bank should give certain amount of cash to people at a certain period of time, this is a warning that, you know, policies can be adhered to. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. Shetima Kudima back again.
It's good to have you back, Shetima. Go ahead.
Thank you. You see, Lilian, the issue of this cashless society, we are not against it. But the reality is, you can go to make a transfer, but there is no network. You have to, sometimes you have to suspend your transaction, and you are in need of it. But what we are expecting for government to do is to sanitize our environment. Let's improve the network. so that that cashless society will be run smoothly. But without network, how can you say you will introduce that cashless society? It will not work. That's our problems. And our major transactions center on the rural market. And the rural community does not believe on sending them a pigger just to collect their goods. What they are required is to see cash. That's the fundamental problem. We are hoping and we are afraid to improve the network of the country. Let's sanitize the atmosphere. Let's make the network more functional, so that the society and the transaction will go smoothly.
True.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shetima. I always say this as well. In as much as they want us to go cashless, are the commercial banks ready for the influx of people that will be using their bank apps? Do they have their apps and network providers? Are they all ready for the influx of people that will be using, apps and other means of cashless transactions to go around their daily business? I know, and I totally agree, that there are some places and some things you want to buy in the market that they would not take cash from you. They won't take transfer from you. It doesn't matter how much it is. They will insist on cash, and you have to find cash and give to them because what you're buying is important to you because of lack of trust in the commercial bank and issues with network. Sometimes network could keep you paralyzed, as in you can't even do anything for days because you don't have access to the money in your account due to network. So all of this put together is a whole lot. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you.
My name is Solomon. I'm calling from Daybreak.
Hi, I didn't get your name and you sound really low. Please, can you speak up?
My name is Solomon. I'm calling from Daybreak.
All right, thank you. Go ahead with your thoughts. Go ahead. Oh, Solomon, do well to call us back. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what it is you have to say. Do well to call back and we'll get your thoughts on our conversation this morning. But I still have a couple of questions. Has this eroded your trust in commercial banks? Like Shetima said, the issue of network is also a problem, which has caused a certain level of distrust. I wouldn't want to call the name of my bank, but there was a day I was literally almost stranded because I was trying to withdraw using my bank app to do transfer, and so that I could withdraw and have cash to pay for a public transport that I was using, just a bike pay. And I couldn't because my bank app decided not to work. So all of this put together, it's a whole lot. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Okay, if you're having issues hearing us, do well to call any of the numbers on your screen, and we might have to let you go because the volume of your TV set is quite loud and is giving us a horrible feedback here in the studio. So please, if you're calling back, do well to turn down the volume of your TV set, talk to us through your phone, tell us your name and where you're calling from, and go ahead with your contribution so we'd have a chat here in the studio. And also make it snappy so you could give room for other people who are trying to air their thoughts to call as well. We also have the numbers there on the screen, and you could reach us via WhatsApp. If you're finding it difficult to reach us via phone, do want to send messages on WhatsApp and we'll be here to take them. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Do we have the caller on the line?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
All right. My name is Simon. I'm calling from Jos, Plateau State.
Simon, it's good to have you. How is Jos this morning?
Well, we thank God.
All right. Go ahead with your thoughts.
The problem I am talking about is about some of these banks, how they operate. I bank with Union Bank. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I bank with Union Bank.
Okay.
Will I say last week or last 2 weeks, I went to do a transaction through POS and it failed. I've gone to the bank almost 3 or 4 times to fill a form. They are telling me minimum of 2 weeks before I could access my money. And this money I'm using it for a lot of things. school fees, and a lot of things I'm using it for. So I think that I feel that the bank should, central bank should do something about some of these things. So that is what I'm trying to present.
All right, thank you, Simon. So, but what's your thoughts on the fine that they imposed on the commercial banks that failed to provide cash during your late period? Do you think that's enough?
Yes. No, it's not enough. They should also go further to monitor them. Because I know we Nigerians, we went through a lot during that festive period.
Yeah.
I remember trying to cash some money from Union Bank. I was only accessed 10,000 out of the whole money I have. It's frustrating now. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, also frustrating the economy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. People went through a lot. You can go to POS and cash as much as, but you go to bank, they'll tell you only 10,000 they will release to you. It's very, very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. Central bank should wake up and do something about it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Simon, for that. You know, he's shared his experience on how he experienced difficulties during the Yuletide period due to cash scarcity. And I understand how difficult it can be, knowing that sometimes you really do need cash to go about your daily activities, and lack of access to it could be crippling. Now let's take our last call for the day. Good morning. Oh, it's a WhatsApp message. Let's take this WhatsApp message. And it's from Mohammed Misau from Bauchi. Mohammed says, the punishment is not reaching the Erring bank for a simple reason. When a politician wants to disburse money, he will get whatever amount he needs. So where's the CBN contradictory measures? Engineer Mohammed. Well, thank you for your thoughts there on that. And let's take the last call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Do we have the caller on the line? Good morning. If you can hear me, go ahead with your thoughts. All right. We might have to let you go. And, you know, well, then again, still back to what we're saying, it's a myriad of different, you know, issues put together, starting from, you know, the lack of the commercial bank's ability to be able to provide adequate online services for Nigerians to actually take out, you know, cash transactions and rely on cashless transactions. And then from the CBN policies that look contradictory to the eyes of Nigerians, more transparency is needed on that part. These are what Nigerians are calling for. And we look forward to seeing, you know, further policies that would be clearer and more transparent to Nigerians in the long run. Well, having said that, we've come to the end of this segment.